Okay, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Terrible. Uh-oh, we can't have that. I mean, the Bucks parade is going on. I'm sure that's why the seats aren't as full as they would be usually, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, want to welcome you all to the July State of the Castle. Can't believe we're already towards the end of July even. So with that, we have a number of individuals that will update us on a few things. Eric Peterson didn't have any questions asked of him, and he really didn't have any updates. So Eric is continuing on, so I don't know if Eric will be joining us. However, without further ado, again, I'm Tyler, of course, your executive director, but we all know that by now. I'm going to introduce individual that needs no introduction, but Mike Prever, and he had the one submitted resident question for this month. So Mike, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. I've never had the only question before. I feel honored. It would help you in understanding the answer to the question if I give you an update on the Edelweiss cruise. First of all, you all know that we are set to go September 10th on the Edelweiss. It's a 2-hour cruise. The Edelweiss is actually the name of the cruise line. The actual name of the ship is the Lady Luck or something like that. We have the entire ship reserved for East Castle Place that night. So just us and our guests will be going. You all know from the information I shared already, the trip includes, there will be a coffee bar, there's appetizers, there's desserts. And these are heavy appetizers and heavy desserts. There will also be a cash bar available that night. I did speak to the Edelweiss on behalf of a couple of your neighbors and got an update on some information. The Edelweiss can accommodate wheelchairs. The wheelchairs, however, must be manual. They cannot be powered wheelchairs, and they cannot be the extra wide wheelchairs. These have to be just standard size wheelchairs. But there are ramps that get us down to the dock from where we park the vans that will take you there that night. And there are ramps that take you from the dock up onto the ship. The crew of the Edelweiss will actually assist us in getting people up onto the ship that night. I know of only one or two so far that need to have that information, that have requested us to reserve a couple of seats for them. But there you have the update. The cruise itself, as long as it's a manual wheelchair, is an accessible cruise. And the refreshments actually cater to the people that are required to stay on the main floor because of accessibility guidelines. Refreshments are all on the first floor. Those of us that will be up on the upper deck enjoying what we hope will be a beautiful evening sky in early fall, we're going to have to go back downstairs when we want to replenish our appetizers and desserts. So at any rate, there you have it.
How many are signed up?
I have 53 people signed up right now for a cruise that can accommodate 100. It's only been open now for registrations for 8 business days. We've got 6 weeks to go, and I'm only looking for 47 more people. So I'm very, very confident that this is going to be a wonderful trip, and we're all going to have a great time. I hope if you haven't signed up yet that you will. It'll be a lot of fun and something that hopefully will be the highlight of our program year this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody. Now, I have been asked specifically, what is the East Castle Place Legacy Club? That has become a question of interest because Legacy Club members get to come for free on the Edelweiss trip on September 10th. In fact, we plan an annual outing that people can either pay to attend or Legacy Club members will get to come for free. What is next year's Legacy Club event? I don't know. I'll let you know when when Laura and Maureen and Anna and I get together next spring and plan it. We do have some wonderful ideas. I think you'll all enjoy it, but rest assured, whether you're a Legacy Club member or not, everybody gets to come. Now, what is a Legacy Club member? In a little bit of a play on words, it's our tie to the past, and it's a present that we give to our future. Like that play on words, past, present, future? No, nobody got it. All right. At any rate, it's easiest for me to explain it if I give you some examples. Over the last 2 or 3 years, those of you that have been with us that long, you remember that Ted Wiley and his wife remembered us in their will. And East Castle Place received about $12,000, a little bit more than $11,000 from them as their will was executed. You remember about 4 months ago, I told you about a former board member of East Castle Place that had created a charitable remainder trust, a woman by the name of Jill Wilson. She was a board member in the 90s. She passed away this past Christmas. Upon her passing, the charitable trust was dissolved, and East Castle Place received the proceeds from that trust. Turned out to be $456,000. Both of those are what we consider planned giving. In other words, it cost these individuals nothing to remember us as they made out their estates, their estate planning. That's a legacy club here at East Castle Place. If you remember us as you prepare your affairs, you would become a member of our legacy club. Now, how do you do it? Well, both the Wileys and Ms. Wilson chose to do it through their will, and that is a way to do it. A second way to do it is entrance fee. Upon your leaving East Castle Place and going somewhere else, you are due a refund of your entrance fee. You could designate a portion of that, donate it to East Castle Place. That would also qualify as a legacy club. In either case, we're not asking people to give us anything now. We're asking them to consider remembering us as they make their plans for the future. That's a legacy club member. Every year from now on, we'll have an outing that legacy club members will get to come to for free, or you can pay the $75, or maybe next year's is $50 or whatever, and come and invite your guests. We welcome everybody to come on our events. Does that answer questions for people about what a legacy club member is? Can I answer any other questions for you about what's going on in fundraising right now? With that, I'm going to turn it over to, let me see if I can just jump the gun here. Is Lindsay here? She's not. We're going to bypass Eric. Tyler took care of that. We're going to pass it off to Laura. Laura Wingler, everybody's favorite director of community events.
So kind of you. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Good. So I'm going to give you a preview of some of next month's events and some highlights that we have from the month of August. So a couple things that we're excited about. Neil Bupke and the musicians of the Whitefish Bay United Methodist Church will be here on Wednesday, August 11th, as we're having them back again. I'm excited about that. Easy Days Quartet is going to perform here on Thursday, August 12th. We have the Fulton String Trio here on Monday, August 16th. And our outdoor music for next month is going to be Jay Isaacson, who's a vocalist and a pianist, and he'll be playing outside in the garden patio for our roving bar, and that will be on Wednesday, August 18th. Now we have some guest speakers that will be returning next month. Dr. Tim Crane will be returning for his series, Dr. Paul Norton, as well as David Fantle, who has been talking about Hollywood stars and film stars of the screen. They will be returning next month to finish their series. Also, I wanted to mention that Kathy Johnson's foreign film series, for those of you who got a chance to enjoy that foreign film this month, will be on Monday, August 9th at 2 o'clock p.m. So this is our first month. August is our first month we're able to take our lunch outings again, which we're excited about, as well as our museum outings. So a couple of upcoming ones in August. Lunch at the Sail Loft on the river on Thursday, August 5th. We'll have a tour of the MSOE Groman Museum on Tuesday, August 10th. South Shore Farmers Market trip on Saturday, August 19th. An outdoor patio lunch at Jack Pandle's on Thursday, August 19th. And finally, our Milwaukee Art Museum trip will be on Friday, August 27th. Now, our calendar will be coming out a little bit early so you can plan ahead for these events, but I wanted to give you a rundown of some exciting things that we have planned for the month of August. Now, Willie wanted me to mention our walking group. For those of you who participate in our walking group, next Tuesday they're traveling or walking in Veterans Park, so if you remember to sign up for that. And then next month they're going to Lakeshore Park, which is in the Summerfest grounds in the month of August. So those are just some things I wanted to highlight as far as previews for next month. Are there any questions? Yes, Helen.
Are we going to the music at the Park over here, Lake Park?
Oh, so question.
Monday and Wednesday?
Helen was asking about music in Lake Park. So we are planning that for an evening. We're looking at a Wednesday evening in August. We're just checking the musicians, and they continue through, I believe, the beginning of September. So yes, we will be taking a trip there, and that will be forthcoming, so we can give you information about that. Great. Anything else? Okay. Well, then I will pass it over to Gary Aubrey. He's going to share an update about the Castle Choir. Gary.
Well, it's been a while since the choir has gotten together. We had to unfortunately cancel the spring concert last year because of the pandemic, but we're gearing up for hopefully a really nice Christmas concert this coming December. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be I'm going to be putting this at the front desk for anyone, including those who have been part of the choir before. Please put your name down for this. We need to do some major recruiting because unfortunately we have lost a number of members in the choir, either because of moving away or because they passed away. So we're in need of a lot of people to fill back up the choir. So I see, of course, we don't have the full group that we would normally have for State of the Castle, but pass the information on to everybody you know that sings or has sung or would like to sing, because we got spots open for everybody. And I don't have I haven't decided exactly yet what music we're going to do. I think we'll pull up a few things that we had done a few years ago when we first started, and also add some new music into this. I'm planning the concert to be about 45 minutes, and also planning to hopefully do 2 concerts like we did before, simply because there's not enough room in this place to get everybody in here at one time comfortably and safely, especially after what we've gone through this past several months. We want to make sure everybody stays safe. So, any questions? Okay. Tyler?
Thank you, Gary. And for those of you viewing on Touchdown on live stream, of course, that sign up will be at the front desk. Please feel free to reach out to Gary Aubrey. If you haven't had the opportunity to meet Gary Aubrey, for some of our newer residents, he's located over in the Water Tower 4th floor. Or talk to Laura, and they'll get you connected. So again, if you don't think you have a good singing voice, I hear that tryouts are not required. We just want the willingness to attend, as they've even asked me. So we know that you don't have to be a good singer in order to be there, but I know that the choir is full of incredible singers. So again, we'd love for you to participate. It's always an awesome concert each year, and I highly encourage you to participate and encourage you to use that beautiful voice of yours. All right, a couple updates from my kind of desk, so to speak. COVID-19. And again, here we are at East Castle Place in a very good spot. Again, you as residents have done an incredible job in being vaccinated. But I'm sure you've all seen the news as well, correct? And some of the different variants and things of that nature that have come up. And again, we are watching that. We are monitoring that. Again, we have a number of employees that have been vaccinated. We still have employees in masks. And so that will continue. And so it's an ongoing monitoring situation. Here currently at East Castle Place, we do not have any employees nor residents with COVID-19. That's not to say that we don't hold an employee out or monitor a resident for any symptoms. What we're seeing is allergies, the summer cold type, or something of that nature. So fortunately, no COVID-19. Again, I will keep everybody abreast of any changes that need to be made regarding COVID-19, but at this time, we remain the course. We remain opening the community to visitors and guests. Now, again, I think you saw the memo earlier this month regarding some of those visitor restrictions being loosened a little bit more, maybe a few larger groups, again, reserved spaces. And also, the bigger question, and I see Carlos just popped in, we are targeting August 15th for visitors to be able to come back in the dining room and dine with you. And so again, that is a little bit of a moving target, and Carlos will most likely send out a memo solidifying that. But again, we know how important that is. We also know that you've had guests in your apartments dining with you in your apartments. Always encourage that. So again, if you have questions regarding COVID-19, if you have questions about where we are at from a community standpoint, let me know. Again, I can assure you, we are monitoring the situation. Lindsay Vigut and Ashley Drummond, our director of nursing, are constantly on weekly calls with the state of Wisconsin's Department of Health to keep us updated in the loop, as well as calls with the county. So Milwaukee County, that is. So again, it's not something that we've lost sight of. It's not something that we've said, we've conquered this and we can go on and carry forward with everything. It is something that we are monitoring, but I don't want you to be fearful, so to speak. Continue to be proactive, and if you are feeling a little under the weather, to stay put. Let Teresa Jenkins know. Let us know, and make sure we're monitoring you as well. So again, we still want that communication. Are there any questions regarding COVID-19? Again, I want you to know we are in a good place. I want you to know that we as East Castle Place are monitoring the situation. And in the event we were to go back to a mask mandate that's getting kind of tossed out there at a federal or state level, something of that nature, we definitely will keep everybody informed and have our thumb on it, so to speak. Alex.
What was the date on the guest room?
The question was raised, what was the date for the guest rooms to return? And Teresa, that was the July 15th. So great point, Alex. So the guest suites are available. Teresa, I think, has some parameters.
There's only 2 guest rooms, so 1 guest room per resident.
There's 2 guest rooms available right now, and we ask just for the greater good of East Castle Place that the residents only request 1 of those at a given time. If you need that second additional room, do reach out to Teresa. If we have some flexibility, we'll definitely make that exception. But again, as a standard, 1 room per resident or a resident family for a weekend or for a select period of time.
And schedule those Monday through Friday with Lila or Samantha.
Thank you, Teresa. And the other request is just to schedule those Monday through Friday, normal business hours, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Again, we're 24/7, but if you can keep it in there between the 16 hours, that way Lila and Famata, who are responsible for monitoring those guest suites and also we can just have the clearest communication and not try to schedule those on the weekend. So, any other questions? Okay. Then we had an exciting 2 days, the last 2 days here at East Castle Place as in regards to the renovation and update that we're going through. So to kind of set the table, the marketing team continues to market and solicit priority reservation deposits. And so again, as a reminder, if you have any friends that may be interested in the renovation and are independent, please have them reach out to Anna or Heidi or Fern. And what's required is a $1,000 fully refundable deposit, and then they get put on a list. And there's priority member events and things of that nature. But again, you as residents already have that. You have the insight and knowledge. So what we did over the last 2 days is we met with our partners, RDG, who's the interior designer, CG Schmidt, who's our general contractor, AG Architects, our architect, obviously, LCS Development, who's doing the project management, and then some of the LCS operational individuals, as well as your director leadership team here at East Castle. We had the opportunity to walk the campus. Many of you might have seen us on Tuesday. It was about a group of what felt like 30, but I think it was about 15, walking the hallways, experiencing the space. That was really the first time that they had seen the space with their own eyes as opposed to a black and white sketch, so to speak. So there's a lot of good interactions, a lot of good discussions, a lot of good input that they gathered that day. Then the next day, they were able to sit down with certain groups of individuals, for instance, the marketing team. What are the apartment finishes that you are looking for that the buyer and new prospective resident may be looking for? Then the next meeting led into the leadership team, and the leadership team met and said, what are the common areas? What are the feels that we want? What's the new look potentially? And I can assure you that RDG, our interior designer, was very pointed from your feedback as well as the director feedback, as well as what makes East Castle Place East Castle. And that was, we are not St. John's. And again, no discredit to St. John's. They are beautiful. But we're different, and we want to stay different, I think. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing by any means. And so what they looked at it more was through a lens of refresh. Not reinvent, but refresh. And what they were calling today's traditional. So again, I would say there's not that hotel-like atmosphere, that contemporary, modern. That's something that we are staying well away from and going into what they call today's traditional. Bringing in some of those warm tones, and I'm sounding like an interior designer, and I assure you it's only because I was with an interior designer for the last 2 days. But bringing in some of those warmer tones and some of those really nice attributes that East Castle Place has, and building upon them and improving upon it so that you can be proud of your home. The final meeting was a group of your fellow neighbors. There's 5 residents, Kathy Johnson as the resident council president, along with 4 others that had the opportunity to sit down with RDG and look, touch, feel some of the product types. And really the big question was from RDG was, are we going in the right direction? Meaning, is this what you can see? Is this something that as we're going through room by room and concept by concept, is this feeling what you, on behalf of your neighbors, would want? And I think the general consensus after that was yes, RDG is definitely heading in the right direction. I think it was a really cool experience. I was able to sit in that meeting and hear some of the interactions that some of your neighbors had. It was really interesting because there's 5 of them, and I don't think all 5 ever necessarily agreed on one thing, which again, why we use 5 and not everybody is, can you imagine if we can't get 5 of us to agree, not necessarily 50 of us? So again, that's why we went into those focus groups, much like what I had the weeks leading up. I sat down with about 35 of East Castle residents throughout those 5 meetings to really focus on the programming of some new spaces that are being brought on with the renovation and expansion. And that shared some really good insight. And that was all forwarded on to our interior designer and architects as well. And so again, I know that this project, as the interior designer said, it's a million little puzzle pieces. And it's tough to imagine that one puzzle piece in the whole puzzle, right? But what I was excited about, and what RDG was excited about, and what the team was excited about is that A, we're moving this project forward, but B, we're heading in the right direction, that we're not reinventing East Castle Place, and we're not losing what we have. If I could reiterate Mike's, it's the past, the present, and then looking to the future, right? We know who we are and that tradition and rich history that we have, something that presently we know we can't lose, and looking to the future and how we refresh all that. So again, the timeline right now is, again, as a reminder, is April of 2022 is a start date for some construction interiorly. And again, that could move. It's based as well on city approvals and things of that nature. The city, I will tell you, has been amazing to work with throughout this time, keeping the aldermen updated as well on some of the changes that we'll be going through. But all in all, the project continues to progress. And so we are in a very good position as we sit here today for the next kind of 6 months to a year in looking forward. Are there any questions regarding the renovation? I know I don't have a presentation or anything like that today. It would be very similar to what I shared with you the last time. But Nancy.
Leaving the underground garage,
Mm-hmm.
I have followed several cars that goes and they scrape the side and will that ever change?
So the question that was from Nancy and was the underground garage. Will that change? Because I see people scraping their cars and things of that nature. In this project, and what we're planning is no. There's no changes to the underground. Again, that's very structural and foundational. There is no changes to that. But let me talk with Eric in facilities and maybe some, I know I park down there as well. If there's anything we can do to help kind of streamline that, we can do that already today to try and help that traffic pattern out. So great thought, and let me see if we can't do something right now, because physically the space doesn't change. And I know that there's certain pillars there to help guide and protect other equipment. I know that unfortunately that means that your car may be the piece of equipment that is the one hurt, but let's see if we can't figure that out ahead of time. Of course. Any other questions regarding the renovation or the updates? Okay. The next topic that I have, again, there was one question submitted, and Mike took care of that one, is a resident satisfaction survey. How many of you remember the resident satisfaction survey from 2019? All right. Well, guess what? We do those every 2 years. That would mean 2021, the year we're in, is another resident satisfaction survey. Can't believe it. Time flies. These resident satisfaction surveys, you are going to get a lot more information regarding this, and actually something that I will be proposing in August is really probably some small group, maybe some departmentals, to kind of just talk about, the pros, the cons, where we were back in 2019, what we heard from you in 2019, what we implemented from 2019, and where we're at today. And what can we continue to do to improve, and what's the good, obviously, because we want to hear that, because I think there has been some positive changes that has been done from your feedback. But also, let's get ahead of what else is there. And so we're not just hearing it for the first time on the survey. And so again, look for a lot more information, but I guess what I want to start talking about, and I'll do it in the State of the Castle next month, is a review of where we stood in 2019. We had an 87% satisfaction rate in overall satisfaction in 2019. And I think as a community, I like to think we've improved. Of course, I'm very biased, but at the same time, I want to hear from you and remind you kind of what your feedback was and then what we implemented due to that feedback. So again, we'll be looking more forward to that. The survey we're looking at dropping in mid-September, and then there will be about a week to 10 days that will ask you to fill that out. Again, the response rate has always been strong. Your voice needs to be heard. So each individual, so if you're, even if it's, I'm looking at the Anthonys right now, they'll each receive a survey to fill out. And so again, we want that feedback. We value your feedback. There's also an opportunity for you to put comments regarding each of the areas. It's looked at our hospitality, our salons, so on and so forth. So again, there's a lot of good information. It's one of my favorite times. Also lose a little bit of sleep on it because it's always something that I'm excited about. Maybe a little nervous, but not necessarily nervous. But again, it allows me, along with your directors and the individuals that provide that service, A, feedback first and foremost, but B, what changes do you see? You know, good, bad, or maybe something different. And so again, that's where we'll be wanting that feedback. So look for more information for the Resident Satisfaction Survey for 2021. And then two last items. KEI, our former landscaper, was hired on to do a couple projects for us. Unfortunately, I thought those projects were going to be already started as we stood here today, and I could be talking about it. Unfortunately, due to some staffing and some weather, they're behind schedule. And let me know yesterday that they were going to be 2 days late. And so they're actually starting the work on the rooftop garden on Friday. So that was updated on Touchtown. Again, that was due to the Community Enrichment Fund that you as East Castle Place residents began, along with Mike Brever, as unbudgeted items that you as a community want from a capital standpoint. And so what KEI will be doing is they've walked with Katie, Joe, and Terry to demolish some of the old plants and get those soils and get them ready for revitalization. I think it's a beautiful garden. I think it's something that we can really has come to light more so even this year than I did see last year. And so we want to continue down that. So KEI will be working on the rooftop garden tomorrow. That's a 1-day project. Hopefully they're wrapped up in 1 day. Then the other exciting part is the gazebo area right out here. There's going to be some larger equipment that gets brought in because the gazebo, there's that trees that are kind of dead and just need a full refresh. And so we worked with KEI, their landscape designer, and we will be doing a full refresh of that corner to enhance the curb appeal, again, of your homes, but also help beautify that space. So there is a full landscape plan. That'll take about 4 to 5 days. Again, that's weather depending, but I want you to know when you see equipment and things going on out there that is happening. So questions regarding any landscape updates? All right, lastly, why the crowd probably isn't as full as usual, because those of you that are watching this right now may be watching it after the fact, but the Milwaukee Bucks won a championship, right? First time in 50 years. That is before my time, sneak peek that I'm not quite 50 yet. However, I do know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robinson, some of those big players were the reason. And now we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. We have Chris Middleton, we have Drew Holiday, we got the team, right? So they're riding on buses, enjoying life. I think they were predicting close to 100,000 individuals across Milwaukee. How many of you were able to stay up for the game? All right, history in the making. So I did too. It was amazing, but we also had a little bit more riding on it, right? How many of you saw the WTMJ4 or Spectrum 1 news piece? All right, so for those of you that may not have, our friends down at Friendship Village at Tempe, it's another beautiful senior living community. Cole Marvin is the executive director there. I know him from former lives, but it's an LCS managed community, much like LCS manages East Castle. So Cole put up a friendly wager, and of course I'm one to not turn down a wager, especially when I have confidence in our team, right? And so the wager was craft beer. It was the executive director wearing the opposing team's jersey, congratulating the opposing team and the community, and then a charitable contribution. So, with the Bucks win, we as East Castle Place will be enjoying, you as residents, Four Peaks Phoenix Craft Beer. It's called Kilt Lifter. It's their signature beer. It's an amber style. Cole Marvin will personally be driving up 10 cases of this Kilt Lifter for you all to experience and enjoy in August. So we'll have another Bucks party. I know, the Kilt Lifter, right? It's an interesting name. But they'll be driving that up. Then Cole Marvin, I'll be shipping my Chris Middleton jersey down to him. He will be doing a story and a video congratulating East Castle Place residents as well as the Milwaukee Bucks on their win. And then Friendship Village of Tempe will be sending a charitable contribution to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee on our behalf of $500. So it's really, really fun, really, really cool. Cole and I have been kind of going back and forth, but at the end of the day, it was a win-win regardless. Again, what we would have done is send down some craft beer. I would have put on a jersey, and we would have made a charitable contribution to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Phoenix. And so at the end of the day, I think it's something really, really neat that we can do from an organization standpoint to continue to support our local community. But at the same time, it's also fun that we'll be able to enjoy a Phoenix craft brew. And also it helps that we don't have to send anything down. More admittedly, I don't look good in orange. It's because of my hair. And so I'm very glad that I can send down a Bucks jersey and make Cole congratulate us. So I think the story is up on our Facebook page. A quick note, if you did give us your email address, we could email you out the link as well moving forward. So if you didn't give your email address, please do. We're compiling that so we can provide that to you as residents and continue to enhance our technology and our communication. So for those of you watching, and if you have not, again, we would love to be able to have your email address so that when we have memos and when we have different things, we can send those out to you as well. Any questions? All right, this might be one of the shorter State of the Castle meetings. I like to think that that's because we're so well informed all the time. But no, if there are any questions, I'll be here. I'll hang back. But again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day-to-day to get updated. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I think we're in the heat of summer, so to speak, but it looks like we're getting a little relief. And again, pop on the TV. I'm sure you'll see some Bucks coverage. That'll be fun. So until next month, I'll see you then. Take care, everyone.